Good morning, folks, and welcome to the Atheist Experience. My name is Ray Blevins. I'm your host. My co-host, Joe Zamecki here. And I'd like to welcome you to this week's show. We have a couple of guests. We have Mr. David Kent and Harry Quinlin from the Atheist Community of Austin. And we've been discussing several of the subjects going on this week, and one of the subjects in the news that's been getting a lot of coverage is this Carla Faye Tucker. And Harry Quinlan here has a short letter he'd like to read about that. Do you mind?
Not at all. This is a letter fax I propose to send to Governor Bush. To the gurney with a lady. I am generally opposed to the death penalty because of the well-publicized executions of innocent convicts. Some 20 known cases in recent years. In the case of Carla Faye Tucker, she has admitted to the crime and is unquestionably guilty. The woman knowingly and with malice aforethought participated in the brutal murder of 2 people. I should like to see her hanged, drawn, and quartered, with her head prominently displayed on a gatepost spike. It is so easy to repent, embrace the cross, exude virtue from every pore, and endlessly boast of one's eternal remorse, pledging good behavior when one is in jail. In point of fact, prison walls prevent crime by simply limiting access to the outer world. Pat Robertson and his sycophantic horde of far-right Christian loonies are pleading for her life. Their usual bloodlust suddenly disappears when one of their own approaches the gurney. Pardoning her or commuting her sentence to life without parole would seem to recognize some special virtue in Christianity, and thus defeat the provisions of the federal and state constitutions. If her Christian belief is sincere and without doubt, she should be most happy and eager to meet her Maker. Do oblige her this opportunity. And
go ahead.
That's what I plan to fax to the governor this afternoon.
That's excellent. And my own personal beliefs on death penalties, I definitely feel that death penalty should be there. We reward the most gifted people in our society here with like the Nobel Peace Prize and things like that. We should be quite willing to be and prepared to punish the worst of us, and she's definitely one of the worst of us. She went through, here it is, been 15 years almost that she's been there, and I agree wholeheartedly with you. How about you, Joe?
This is actually a separate issue from religion in many respects, but at the same time, religion is at the core of this argument. And this is one area where many atheists will disagree. The death penalty, capital punishment, I've met a lot of atheists who disagree with me completely on it, and that's fine. We're all kinds of people, atheists. My own personal opinion is that she should not have been allowed to live this long. That many years on death row, it doesn't matter to me whether she converted or not. Prison is full of these kinds of things. And again, just like you stated, Harry, prison, it's a real easy place to convert someone into a religion for many reasons. If they're not exactly strong-minded or strong-willed in the beginnings, prison is an excellent place to break somebody down emotionally. And if you come out of there without ever having any of those religious pressure problems really affect you badly, then you're doing pretty well. But there is so much religion in prisons. And it, again, you were correct in saying that it is not something that can exonerate this person at all. It doesn't bring back her victims. It's actually, to me, in my opinion, a slap in the face to all victims. And I think her sex or her religion should not have anything to do with whether she goes to that gurney.
And let's get David Kent's opinion on this.
If I were a Christian, I would be embarrassed by what this woman is claiming.
Exactly.
I would not want to be in any way associated with her. I think some people commit a crime that is so terrible, they have no further claim on society's sympathy, I'm not willing to pay the cost of this woman's continued existence. And for her to claim that she'd suddenly changed her life around would have some credence if she'd done it before the crime. It's impossible for her to prove she's legitimate. We see a lot of criminals. If you were on death row, you'd want to be off death row by whatever means, and this is just a simple means to wiggle off. And it should be recognized as that, and it has nothing to do with belief or non-belief. It's just a technique to escape death row, and I wouldn't be sympathetic with this woman. Not me.
So the four of us, but again, there are some atheists out there that are against the death penalty. We're not going to sit here and say all atheists are for the death penalty.
No.
And just like we do have women in our group also. That I don't know if it says more about the male ego of our group that we've only had men on the show yet, but the Atheist Community of Austin has some wonderful women in the group. A couple of them are in there working in the booth right now, and so if you call in, you'll be talking to them. But